Heather higher, okay? Where do you want me to stand, Vicki? I got directions. You want me to go up there? Okay, y'all can rest your arms for a minute. Get the workout on. Okay. Thank you. Where's the officer that needs the two officers now? I got the two officers. Okay, you got them? Come on. Peace and light upon Heather higher.
Peace and light upon Heather higher.
Peace and light upon Officer Burke Bates.
Peace and light upon Officer Burke Bates.
Peace and light upon Officer J. Cullen.
Peace and light upon Officer J. Cullen.
Thank you, and peace and light upon you.
Peace and light upon you.
And so the next we have a young lady who is our yesterday.
Hate is what caused neo-Nazis to gather and spread their venom. Hate is what caused physical violence. It's no surprise that such a hateful group would be quick to violently victimize others. Hate leads to violence. We cannot fight hate with more hate. We cannot fight violence with more violence. It is our duty to take the high road. I'm not going to pretend that the high road is easy, as people lost their lives yesterday taking the high road. We must not let their deaths be in vain. We must remember Heather Heyer. We must remember Mark Bates. We must remember Jay Cullen. And we must not let their names be forgotten. They died fighting against actors of hate. It is imperative that we choose to love even those who have hurt us, even those who hate us. It says in 1 Corinthians 13:4-7, love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrong. Love does not delight evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. We must choose to embody this love for even our enemies. And we must choose to embody this love for each other. We must choose to support each other. We must choose to stand together, and we must choose to protect each other.
Yes.
If you guys could say this, repeat after me. It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love each other and support each other.
We must love each other and support each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
It is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love each other and support each other.
We must love each other and support each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We must remember these words as we love each other, as we protect each other, as we do not give up hope, as we stand together. So I hope you all can remember those words throughout your lives as you continue your fight for justice. Thank you.
First, I want to acknowledge that I have not always been a good citizen. I have not always been someone who has been supportive of leadership. I have been irresponsible in saying, I hate this and I hate that. So my request to you today is to put an end to the reaction. when we see blood on TV, when we see dogs on TV, when we see fights on TV, our first response, impulse, is to react. Nothing will be solved in reaction. Instead, I request my brothers and sisters, part of my community, that we begin to design a life of pro-action. Pro-action meaning something positive. Pro-action meaning standing for something. Now, we've heard in the news Maxine Waters reclaiming her time. So I'm going to invite you to go a step beyond reclaiming your time. We're going to claim our time. It's about time. It's about time that we respect each other. It's about time that we respect the police. It's about time that we respect our friends. It's about time that we respect our families. So I'm going to respectfully request that you respond after I make one statement that it's about time. It's about time to respect our parents. It's about time. It's about time to respect our children.
It's about time.
It's about time to respect our law officers.
It's about time.
It's about time to respect our seniors.
It's about time.
It's about time to respect our enemies.
It's about time.
It's about time to respect our teachers.
It's about time.
It's about time to respect all of those who we agree with.
It's about time.
It's about time to respect other religions.
It's about time.
It's about time to respect other cultures.
It's about time.
It's about time to respect one another.
It's about time.
So I'm going to ask you to turn to your neighbor and create right now. It's about time. What are you going to take a positive, proactive approach on starting today? I don't care if it's picking up trash off the street. I don't care if it's running for office. I don't care if it's supporting someone who you disagree with. I don't care if it's looking for programs for people who are underprivileged or don't have it as well as you. Turn to your neighbor. Pick one thing. I don't care what it is. And turn to your neighbor and say, it's about time that I do this. It's about time. Please, take a moment. Turn to your neighbor. Hello, neighbor.
Wait for a minute for this guy to go past?
Yeah.
All right.
Good job. Good job. Nice timing.
All right. This is not something that we thought would ever happen, that we would ever see in our lifetime. These are the words spoken by a college sophomore in Virginia Friday night after witnessing over 200 protesters walk through his campus at the University of Virginia, shouting hateful rhetoric and walking with tiki torches lit through the college campus. All of us value our First Amendment right, enshrined within the U.S. Constitution, to freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, and the freedom to peacefully assemble. However, we must recognize that hateful rhetoric that targets people on the basis of their skin color, their religious beliefs, their ethnicity, or their immigration status is not quote-unquote free speech. It comes with a heavy cost. It comes with a heavy cost because it demonizes individuals and it physically pits individuals and communities against one another. Our nation is very good at pointing out deficiencies that are present in other nations and other communities. But we too often struggle to look inward at ourselves and at our own history. And our own history teaches us that we have many dark chapters. From... So is that squeaking too much? All right. Is that good? All right. Our nation is very good at pointing out deficiencies in the practices and policies of other nations around the world. But too often we are very bad at looking within our own selves and reflecting upon our own history. And we know that our history has some dark times in it. For we know about slavery. We know about Jim Crow laws. We know about the fact that women were not given the right to vote in this country until very early into the 20th century. And we know that we have had policies enacted that target racial, ethnic, and religious minorities through our times. And it would be very easy, after seeing the horrific tragedy in Charlottesville, to think that there is no way our communities will ever change. But do you believe that?
No.
Do you believe that our communities are incapable of changing?
No.
I do too. Because in the past year alone, we have seen painful acts of violence and hate that are directed towards racial, ethnic, and religious minorities. Too often we've had to have these vigils after horrific attacks on 2 Indian immigrants in Kansas, after watching Jewish cemeteries get desecrated, after watching an attempted attack on 2 teenagers on a Portland train, both minorities, one who was Muslim. And more recently, gathering here tonight, as you remember the victims who took place this weekend in Charlottesville at the prelude to the Unite the Right rally. As I said earlier, it would be easy, after seeing such a horrific tragedy in Charlottesville, to just throw in the towel, to give up, to say, I'm done. But we are better, and we are called to do better. And the reality is that in the days that this past Friday, when I saw those images from Charlottesville, my heart was really broken. But as I scored through the news, I came across a beautiful message from a reverend in Charlottesville. And her name is Reverend Brenda Brown Grooms. And I want you to listen to the words that she said to her people in Charlottesville. When she said, I come from a people who were enslaved. And if you're going to make it through that misery, there has to be a spirit that allows you to see past what your eyes see in front of you and what your ears can hear. And to understand that hope forms in the heart. In the face of hatred, we find hope in the peaceful resistance of people who stood up around the country, united against bigotry in all of its forms. We are inspired by the actions of individuals such as Heather Heyer, who chose to attend a counter-protest in Charlottesville to stand against injustice and inequality, and lost her life tragically. We have gathered here tonight as a community to hold a vigil to remember the victims of the horrific tragedy in Charlottesville, and to reaffirm that we, the people, will not stand for hateful speech. We will not stand for bigotry. We will not stand for violence that is targeted towards individuals simply because of the color of their skin, because of their ethnicity, because of their gender, or any qualifying factor that is within out of their control. We stand together, united against hate, in our mission to create a more beautiful, welcoming, and inclusive community and nation. But we must remember that our mission is not simply to unite. Our mission is not simply to unite together, but to also to reach out and educate those amongst our circle of friends, our neighbors, our houses of worship, our workplace, and in our community, who may harbor hateful ideas or ideologies such as those that were expressed in Charlottesville. We must learn to stop shouting at each other and instead learn to talk with one another. We must teach people to let go of their hate and to learn to love, to respect, and to value each other as human beings, irrespective of the color of our skin, our gender, our ethnicity, or our religious beliefs. I'll conclude with a beautiful quote from Nelson Mandela, who stated, "No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, the color of his background, or his religion. People must learn to hate. People must learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite." Thank you.
Robert E. Lee
religion too.
Imagine all the people.
Imagine all the people
Living life in peace.
living life in peace.
You may say I'm a dreamer. I'm not the only one.
But I'm not the only one.
I hope someday you will join us.
I hope someday you will join us.
And the world will be as one.
And the world will be as one.
Imagine no possessions.
Imagine no possessions.
I wonder if you can.
I wonder if you can.
No need for greed or hunger.
No need for greed or hunger.
And brotherhood of man.
A brotherhood of man.
Imagine all the people
Imagine all the people
sharing all the world.
sharing all the world.
You wave your light. You may say I'm a dreamer.
But I'm not the only one.
I hope someday you'll join us.
I hope someday you'll join us.
And the world will be as one.
And the world will be as one.
Pamela?
Let us pray. Oh God, let us pray with confidence that peace might be able to rise from the often reoccurring and sometimes dramatic breaks in the peace process. Let hatred and divisions be ended forever. Let justice prevail. Let the healing from the violence and divisions of yesterday begin as the songwriter states, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our Father, brothers all are we. Let me walk with my brother in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. Let there be peace on earth. Let this be my song now. To take each moment and live each moment in peace and harmony. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. And now some final comments from our organizer, Kathy Parker.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for showing your support. To all our speakers, to Deanna, thank you for all that you have done. Maria, thanks for your words. Gail and Charlie, thanks for your songs. And Karoom and Ebony and all of my singers, our singers. Susie, thank you, thank you. Anyway, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with all of us here. Thanks for coming and have a good night.